Okay, in today's video I want to take you guys through adding lighting to a kitchen design. To do that, we're going to first have to set up a ceiling so that we can host can lights in the ceiling. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead to my level 1 floor plan. And in my level 1 floor plan, the first thing that I want to do is I want to find the ceiling tool. And the ceiling tool is between roof and floor. Go ahead and select ceiling tool. And then I'm going to go ahead and then sketch in a ceiling. Now, if I had walls that actually contain my entire area of my project, I would easily be able to select the walls. But since I do not have walls, I'm going to grab my sketch ceiling. And then I'm going to go ahead and create just a rectangle. Grab my rectangle tool. And I'm going to create a rectangle over top of the area that I'm talking about for my kitchen. If we had a full house, we could select the walls. And it would create a ceiling. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and create a rectangle that would become my ceiling. Now, as I look over here in my properties, right now this is creating a ceiling that is a 2 foot by 4 foot ACT, which is acoustical ceiling tile system, like a drop ceiling type installation. This really isn't the ceiling that I want to put into my kitchen. So I want to go in and I want to get into looking to see what are the ceilings Revit gives me. Well, I have a generic. And here's my GWB on metal studs. Well, gypsum wallboard would be what I'm looking for, but not necessarily on metal studs. In fact, the ceiling is going to be installed on the bottom of the floor joists that would be holding the second floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I can select that gypsum wallboard on metal stud. I can hit Edit Type, and then I can duplicate. And instead of having gypsum wallboard on metal stud, I'm just going to say it's GWB, and I'll just put in 0.5 because that's going to be the thickness of my drywall. The drywall would really be structurally held by the floor system that's holding the second floor. So I'll go ahead, GWB 0.5 for 1/2 inch, and then I'm just going to change the structure. I really do not need to have any metal structure, but I am going to have something in this core boundary. Because I don't believe it'll give me just a finish. So I'm just going to move that up, and I'm going to delete this structural layer here. So now I'm going to, instead of having a 5/8 thick drywall, I'll make that a 1/2 inch thick, and it's gypsum wallboard. Then go ahead and hit OK, and I have a 1/2 inch thick ceiling. Okay, that's going to be our ceiling. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look over here, and it says height offset from level. So this is the height offset from level 1. And if we really want to have 9-foot ceilings, we're going to go ahead and change this from 8 to 9 feet. That's how we set up a 9-foot ceiling. If we want to keep an 8-foot ceiling, it's fine. Keep it at 8 feet. Either way would work. Okay? So I'll take this up to 9 feet and then hit apply. Now I'm ready to just hit my green check, and I should have a ceiling created. To tell whether or not I have a ceiling, I'm going to go directly to my call out. And I can now see that there is a large thick line here that is running across my screen. I'm going to jump right into my Manage tab, and I'm going to change that thickness so I can actually see how thick that is. So I'm going to go into my Object Styles, find my ceilings, and instead of my cut view being 5, I'm going to set that up to be 1. And now I can actually see that I have a 1/2 inch thickness of drywall. Now, this piece of 1/2 inch thickness would actually be installed below this 9-foot mark because that would be the floor joist. But for what we're doing now, this will work out great. All right, so now what I'm ready to do is I'm ready to start going ahead to install some lights. To do that, we want to think about where we want to start putting some can lights. And to start finding these first, we're going to go into Architecture. Then we're going to slide over to Component. And then we're going to go into Load Family, because I know I have not loaded any lights into this structure. So we'll slide through here. So I find Lighting. I'm going to find Lighting, Architectural. I want Internal Lighting. And what I'm going to be looking for is a downlight recessed can. So selecting the downlight recessed can, I'm going to hit Open. And there is a 6-inch incandescent recessed can. I'm going to take this up to an 8 incandescent recessed can. And really, think about this as just the actual structure. We should be able to go in and manipulate the lighting to set it up for an LED, which is far more energy efficient than the incandescent lighting. The other thing to set as I'm looking at this in my properties is the elevation. We had already set our ceiling height at 9 feet, so I'm going to go ahead and set up this elevation for my recessed can at 9 feet as well. And go ahead and hit apply. And then when I come over to my drawing, it's not going to let me place. Now, the reason why it's not going to let me place is I can't recognize the ceiling. So what I need to do is I've got to be able to find a view that I am going to be able to recognize the ceiling and then be able to set my recessed can. Now I can actually place a recessed can. What I did is I went to my level 2, so I'm now basically intersecting the ceiling and I can see the ceiling. As I move my cursor around, that is the top profile, that circle with a line, of the recessed can. So I'm going to take and pretty much create a relationship where I want this can to be roughly centered on that cabinet and moved out so that the edge is just tangent with what would be the cabinet below. Not necessarily the countertop, but the cabinet below. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just start dropping some cans in position. Again, I'm going to do the same thing here, and then I'll work across this way. And I'll go ahead and drop one here. Definitely going to put one directly over top of the cooking area, right about here. And then keep working my way around this kitchen. Kitchen should have plenty of light. Definitely going to put one directly over top of the sink, and then we'll put one over top of this work area also. Probably like to put one here. Of course, this is going to be well lit. All right. So now that that's set up, what we're going to do is just hit escape twice to get out of the command, and then I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my cut plane. My call out, and I can see that I have recessed cans in the ceiling. If I were to go ahead and set up a 3D view where I can actually look into the space, I can also see now in the ceiling I have cans in the ceiling, and I'd be ready to actually go ahead and see how much light this is actually going to produce. So what I'll do is we can walk through a very quick rendering, and I'll probably set that up in the next video.